I'm Barry Tatham. We farm 500 hectares here just out of Piopio in the King Country. I was fortunate to take, parents came here in 1940, and in 1969 I took over 70, I took over from them, my wife and I. And we've farmed it since. The last 12 years we've had Kieran and Shona Bradley have share farmed for us on this property. So there's probably three types of planting we've done. So there's we're lucky in the King Country in that the ones that cleared the land left quite a few blocks of native bush on the rougher areas, especially where the cliffs and tomos are. And there's three examples of that there. There's one over there. There's just about solid totara. There's dangerous country in there for cattle, so that's been fenced off. That's been QE2'd. And two over here, very dangerous blocks that have been fenced off. This paddock over here actually was one. We've fenced the two patches of bush off. It's now two paddocks. You couldn't run cattle in one of them because it's just very dangerous. Now we can break feed in there and run cattle quite successfully. So there again, like the other paddock, pasture quality's improved and we're getting better production with the rough areas fenced off. Another type of planting is the one down here in front of us. It's 2-wire electric goes around that. These other blocks have got good solid 8 and 9 wire fences around them. This one here's just got 2-wire electrics. And on the grass, so the sheep can get in to clean out the weeds, and the rock areas are fenced off so cattle can't get into trouble. And we put deciduous trees through there with protectors around them. So there's about 100 odd deciduous trees planted down there, which will look stunning in the autumn and by the time I'm dead. And that's around a duck pond. It's also securing the water quality. Ian, this is an example of being able to utilise your country better. This paddock is 19 hectares and we've fenced it off with the help of Waikato Regional Council's Clean Streams program. So there's 5.5 hectares been fenced off. Kieran, the share farmer, can put cows and calves in here, and the pasture quality has just improved out of sight. We've got water troughs and water reticulations as well, so they're not having to go into swamps to get water. So the water quality is improving. And it's just been a win-win situation. We haven't lost production, and for labour, as far as mustering goes, you can just get in at the other end with a dog, bark your dog, all the stock come down around the tracks, out here and down into the lane, and then back to the yards and the wool shed. So the labour savings has been incredible as well. Some of the other planting we've done here, and I've stuck to native in these cases, is trying to keep our water supply secure. That was just out in the paddock down here. We fenced it off and planted about 750, 800 native trees there, because it's the main water supply for this side of the road. So that pump down there supplies approximately 250 hectares on not all of it's reticulated, but quite a bit of it is. So it's very important to secure that water supply. And that sort of fencing and planting, we want those trees there forever to keep that water supply going. This is an example of some of the other planting we've done with exotics. On the laneway or in odd corners of the farm, just to improve stock movement, we've fenced corners off and planted. There's some fastigata over there. There's 200 fastigata just in a little corner. That was a real hassle before when we're bringing stock up the lane. They'd always go up in that top corner. Now you don't even need a dog to bring stock out to the farm. You can just get behind them on your bike and just chase them wherever you want. The pines there, they cut off a corner. It was a blind spot. There's a fourth type of planting we've done, and that's for shade. And so you've got these poplars so that you can just put stock in the lane on a hot summer's day, shut the gate behind them and let them take their time to wander out through the farm, and takes all the stress away from the stock. This is an example of some of the timber I've had milled on the farm and just using. If you've got shedfuls of it, or not shedfuls of it, if you've got a ready supply, well, instead of putting netting or something, you've got a job that's very solid and it's there for a long time. Beautiful quality timber. And you can see the radiator in the background here in a corner that's was made it hard for stock movement. Now they all run down to a gate. You can see the track coming down there into the lane and back to the shed. Same with them coming down here. They just come straight down here into the lane, off to the shed. Just makes it so easy to run. This is a building grade left over from there's about 15 or 16 35-year-old Pinus radiata milled. They're amongst those regnans in the background there. The clears, there's about 12 metres of clears have been to Tikawiti to be gauged and treated. They're air drying in there. This I'll air dry for another couple of months, and then it'll be packaged up and sent in H3 and H4 treated, whichever one I wanted, and bring back to use on the farm. I think we're going to build a shed out of some of it, and the rest will be just railing timber for gates, etc. We made it not as much as I thought we were going to make out of the trees, but there's a lot of luck in your timing, whereas that's a good thing about trees. You don't have to mill them in 1 year. You can actually put it off for 5 or 6 or 7 years and just hope you get your timing right. But the benefit is just going around the farm and having a pleasant farm to go around, I find. Well, hopefully you make some money out of it as well. But it does worry me that some of these smaller blocks are only going to be, the main use will be just what we're doing here. Over the years, the Farm Forestry Association has been good. The field days, you go around and see different woodlots and what people are doing, not just your production timber, but your amenity planting as well. So it's just good to see what other people are doing. And the Tree Grower has been it's a very good magazine. My main aim on planting now is the protection of the waterways and water quality. So you don't make anything out of a production forest type planting, but we're going to have good water quality, which is pretty important for the future. So a young farmer taking over a patch of land is look at your land. Your stock movement's still going to be the most important. There's running a stock, and look at planting areas for the benefit of the stock, with the shade, taking the stress off stock with lanes and getting rid of your dangerous spots, and then just ask around and see what you should be planting. You've got to ask other people's opinions and make up your own mind in the end. But radiata is still the easiest to sell, but you've got to have it very accessible. Don't plant around waterways, because then you've got all sorts of environmental issues, which we didn't think were going to happen in the past, but they're coming to the fore. And in some of the more inaccessible areas, if you want to plant, you've got to have a high value timber to put on those areas. But even if you're not going to plant for production, just plant natives in the areas that are really no use for farming. But it's a long-term thing. As an older farmer advised me years ago, planting's not about how many trees you plant a year, it's planting a few trees every year. It's a long-term process. You don't have to, no need to get it all done in a day. You just plant a few every year. I thought that was very good advice.